This is it. The last episode of Volume 3. It was crazy and memorable. An absolutely heartbreaking moment where Pyrrha finally reveals her feelings for Jean, and that's the last we ever see of her. One of the best battles of the whole show, fully displaying the abilities of both combatants to their fullest extent. Smart use of powers, amazing cinematography and directing to highlight their skills, a tense back and forth keeping the viewer guessing on how the outcome will be. It's nearly perfect. Interrupting the Cinder and Pyrrha fight with Ruby and Weiss running around wasn't great, or at least it feels underdeveloped. I don't know, we could have had the two actual main characters doing or saying more in these scenes, and then it happens. The arrow pierces her ankle and Cinder asks about Destiny. Now, Mercury had his leg bones rearranged, and that was crazy, but also, he's a villain, and it's not that bad, and we find out he's got robot legs, so it's not that crazy. Then Penny died, and that was crazy, but she's a robot. Surely they can rebuild her, right? She was ultimately a side character too. A beloved one, but still, that's not that bad. It's not too crazy. Then Yang lost an arm. Okay, now that is pretty crazy. She was one of our main characters. That's a real permanent injury. That's kinda crazy. That's all pretty bad. How could they possibly get any crazier than this? Then Pyrrha died. This was, and still is, the biggest moment of the whole show. One of our main characters died. She doesn't get to come back. There was no excuses, no nothing. She died. Most shows don't have the balls to do something like that, and Ruby's silver eyes going off felt very fitting for this moment. Even when I didn't know what this power was, I was overwhelmed, I was taken aback, and a crazy magical blast from Ruby embodied those emotions really well. While we could argue that silver eyes should have definitely been explained before this moment, the shock of it all kind of made it work for me. Now, I'm going to do my last bit backwards from usual. I'm starting with the worst part of the episode, and it's Ruby talking to Crow. Now, I love seeing Ruby talking to her distraught father briefly, and then seeing Yang and not knowing how to help her sister in the throes of this new depression she's in. Those two moments are really powerful, but her exposition dump with Crow is such a letdown in the middle of all of that. It's so textbook feeling, it's droning, and it's shot so boringly. It's just two characters sitting almost perfectly still 2 feet away from each other. They don't get to hug or hold hands, Crow can't wipe away her tears, there's nothing interesting in Ruby's room to even look at. It almost looks like an abandoned guest's room. Crow's droning exposition about Silver Eyes is boringly written, but the actions, or lack thereof, in the scene is really what blue balls this episode. It's such a bland, boring follow-up to the intensity of Pyrrha's fight and death, which is a shame. But my favorite part of the episode is actually the very end of it. When Ruby leaves with Juniper, seeing the remnants of Team Ruby scattered and broken, filled with pain and doubt, Ruby is still trying to move forward with the rest of her friends, filling the role of their own lost soul, where the 4 of them can grow and try to figure this all out together. One final goodbye to Summer's grave, and then it's onward to whatever lies in front of them. Despite how the following volumes handled or mishandled the actual development of Ruby and Juniper, the promise of this moment has still really impacted me. It's beautiful and sad. An incredibly bittersweet ending that amazingly wraps up this insane volume. Then that last little threat from Salem, revealing the face of our true villain and hinting at the much deeper story Ruby, Jean, Ren, and Nora are walking deeper into. It's amazing. Is it any wonder why this volume is my favorite? Maybe this episode ranks as my second favorite just for sentimentality reasons. Maybe it's the nostalgia. Maybe I just like the idea of this episode more than the actual execution of it ended up leading to. Still though, one of the best in the series.
You've beaten me at my own game.
Don't flatter yourself. You were never even a player.
This month of reviews has been a lot of fun, and a lot of work too. But still, I enjoyed it, and I really hope you did too. But first, shout out to my $10 patrons. Nako, Cool Duck, Andrew, Valhalla Knight, Chamomile, G-Extreme, Classy Critic, Noah Perkins, Sunny Shy, Jake, Amber, Hype Man, Zero to Hero, Isaiah, Scaring Crows, Not All That Evil, Messiah Complex, Jacob, Virus, Ben's Sketchbook, The Watcher, Omega Fighter, Trash, Wild Pilot, Josh, Swift Cannon, The Infinity Effect, Gino, and Twisty. If you would like to see me do another month of reviews like this sometime, continue on and do the next volumes of RWBY, let me know in the comments. And thanks for watching. See you next time.